All right, Week 5 NFL. Thursday night kicks off with the Super Bowl 52 QB rematch. Nick Foles and Tom Brady. Except now they play for the Bears and the Buccaneers. Bears will be hosting Tampa Bay. And, listen, Buccaneers are going to... They're going to probably win the division. They're one of the top teams in the NFC. They've got some guys hurt this week, and this game will be closer than the talent on each side suggests. Godwin is out. Fournette is out. Evans is questionable, as usual. But Buccaneers got enough, coming off the bench, and their defense is better. This will be a good game. This will be a good game to start the week. I know last week I was railing on these early season Thursday games, but this is a good one. They got lucky on this one. Let's be honest. But yeah, because who knew when they made the schedule that Tampa Bay and Chicago were going to be where they were. But hey, good for the NFL. We get a good Thursday night game to start off. I'll take Tampa in this one. All right, Sunday, the early games, and let's see. They finally got it right. They have 8 games scheduled for the early window. So now I can max out my DirecTV game mix and know that I'm not missing anything. So we got Buffalo at Tennessee. Well, you might be down to 7 games here because who knows if this game's going to get played. Because, again, the Titans are struggling with the COVID here. And listen, we knew this was going to happen. So everyone was acting surprised last week when, the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game got canceled and then Cam Newton tested positive, and then there was a late-night Saturday scare with one of the guys on the Saints. So, but listen, we knew this was going to happen. And look, at some point, the NFL is just going to have to move back the playoffs a week or two. Because as more and more of these games, end up getting postponed, possibly, they're going to run out of buys. Tennessee and Pittsburgh basically used up theirs already. So if they have a game later in the season, that has to get postponed because of COVID, they're going to have to move it to the back end. It's the only option. But that's fine. Listen, every sport's had to make an adjustment. And listen, it's not convenient. It's not what it's. I'm sure it's difficult on the players, but this is what it is. Hyman Roth. This is the business we've chosen. So let's just get to the business. But we'll see if this game gets played. But listen, there'll be a week 18. There'll be a week 19. There might not be full slate of games, but ultimately, the NFL is going to have to collect whatever games get postponed and put them back there. What's going to get tricky is if you have a team like the Titans who decide to go, hold a practice when they're told that they can't go to the facility. What happens if a team has multiple games postponed? That's where you're going to have an issue. And listen, just follow protocol. Don't try to get cute and try to have a practice at a private school or somewhere, or whatever. And who knows if that's what spreaded it. But listen, 31 other teams have figured it out. I know a couple of players here and there have tested positive, and the Patriots have had 2 high-profile guys. But for the most part, the teams have kept it under wraps. We'll see if it stays that way. But already the Titans have blown it by getting a bunch of people testing positive. So just do what they tell you to do, and then whatever happens, and you adjust. But anyway, if they play this game, I'm going to take the Bills because who knows what's going on with Tennessee right now. Their focus is not where it needs to be. Even though I think Tennessee's probably a better team here, although Buffalo's coming on. But I'll take Buffalo if they play the game. Carolina's at Atlanta. Dan Quinn still coaches the Falcons. I don't know why. Carolina has looked good the last 2 weeks. They've beaten, they beat the Chargers, they beat the Cardinals, but hey, those were games that they had a chance to win and they did it. So they're right in the middle of it. They'll probably get McCaffrey back soon. So who knows? Maybe Carolina competes here. They're going to beat Atlanta because there's just a handful of teams now where their defense can't stop anybody, and Atlanta's one of them. And who knows what's going on offense? Julio Jones might not play. Calvin Ridley threw up a 0 last week. Atlanta's a mess. They're just a complete mess. So I'll take Carolina to win. Las Vegas is at the Chiefs. Again, this will be a good game, for a little bit, and then the Raiders are not beating the Chiefs, so I don't know why. I'm not going to talk about this game all that much because the Chiefs are going to win. And it's just a question of, do they make everybody's fantasy teams happy? That's really what the Chiefs are right now. Is everyone's fantasy team. But the Chiefs will win. Arizona at the Jets. This is a tasty eliminator pick this week. But I have a weird feeling that this could be a game that knocks a bunch of people out of survivor pools. The Jets are coming off 10 days rest. They get Le'Veon Bell back. Flacco's not Flacco anymore if he plays, but he's not a guy that's going to go out there and make a bunch of mistakes. Cardinals have seriously underperformed the last 2 weeks. They lost to beatable opponents, Detroit and Carolina. I'm not picking the Jets to win the game, but I would, if you're in a survivor pool, I would be very cautious about this game. It looks tasty on paper, but you can only pick against the Jets so many times, and before the Jets surprise somebody. I think Arizona will win the game, but this game is going to be a little bit closer than I think people think. Phillies at Pittsburgh. The Eagles 1-2-1, atop the NFC East. The most disgusting. I tell you what, the NFC East right now might be the worst an NFL division has ever been. I can't remember a division, and I'm going back 40, 45 years here. I can't remember a division being this bad, the whole division. I'm trying to think. I know that, the NFC West was bad for years, but in the 80s, but the 49ers were always good, so I can't. Maybe the old AFC Central may have had a shitty year here and there, but I'm telling you, the NFC East is the worst an NFL division has ever been, top to bottom. And listen, at the end of the day, either the Cowboys or the Eagles are going to win the division, but because at some point Dallas has to put it together, but whatever. Listen, we know they can score points. They just give up more. Philly's not beating Pittsburgh, though. So, Pittsburgh's got a little chip on their shoulder now because they're not happy that they got the game canceled last week. And now the Raven game gets moved up. So Pittsburgh's going to be raring to go. And Philly, listen, the Eagles' best quarterback plays for the Bears. He's playing Thursday night. So, they're not going to get 14 points off turnovers in the fourth quarter in this one. So I'll take the Steelers. The LA Rams are at Washington Football Club. And Rams kind of struggled last week against the Giants, and I'm kind of looking at a similar game here. Again, I'm going to take the Rams, but are the Rams a team you can trust week to week, both for winning and fantasy purposes? I don't know. Because now they get Akers back, so now the running back situation up in the air. Everybody was on Darrell Henderson a couple weeks ago, and then Malcolm Brown scored a bunch of points. So, the Rams are just one of those teams that you don't necessarily know what you get in week to week. And listen, Washington will be game. Kyle Allen gets a start. So sometimes that rejuvenates a team. Not that the Redskins, the Washington team is going to be rejuvenated. Man, I'm getting it wrong every week. Every week I say Redskins. Rams are going to win this game. Cincinnati at Baltimore. Listen, Bengals are a nice fantasy team, and they're going to be feisty every week. They're not beating the Ravens, but the Ravens now are now going to be branded one of these teams that can they win a big game. They look great in blowout teams. They should blow out like this game here, which I think they'll win handily here. But this is going to hang over the Ravens till you get to the playoffs. Like, can you win when it counts? And we'll see because they haven't done it yet. But they'll win this week. And then Jacksonville's at Houston. Houston got rid of Bill O'Brien, which they should have. You blow a 24-0 lead in the playoffs, and then just looking bad. And listen, and they had a tough schedule to come out of the gate, but they just haven't looked good. They traded away their best receiver for an okay running back on the back end, and it just. I think I read somewhere where like Houston has like a tremendous payroll for this year, and they don't have their first round draft pick. So it's like, I mean, it's like one of my dynasty teams. Quite honestly, it's a complete mess. Jacksonville is going to be live in this game, but I can't imagine. Listen, Houston's still talented. The Texans really going to be 0-5? I can't see it. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville wins this game, but I'm going to take Houston. I can't believe the Texans are going to be 0-5. That can't happen. But who cares? Houston will win. All right, Sunday late afternoon, you get Miami at San Francisco. The Dolphins didn't quite give us the shootout we wanted with Seattle last week. 49ers were just a bad loss to the Eagles. I know they didn't have Garoppolo, but they handed the Eagles 14 points at the end there. George Kittle that guy put up 40 fantasy points. 15 targets, 15 catches. That's ridiculous. But then you don't even win. But then you don't win the game. That's what drives me nuts about some of these teams. Like, you get a guy like that puts up big fantasy numbers, and then the team doesn't even win. So it's like, what's the point? 49ers will win this week, though. And it's going to be 2 at a time in a couple weeks anyway. So Indianapolis at Cleveland. The Browns. Hey, listen, the Browns. I know it was the Cowboys last week, but the Browns showed you what they could do on offense with the guys that they have. They have players on offense. They can score. That's a great statement. Everybody has players on offense. You know what I'm talking about. They have guys that can put up points. It's just that they've just not been focused. But Cleveland is showing you what they are capable of. And listen, Indianapolis has got a good defense. I don't trust Phillip Rivers or anybody on their offense. I think Cleveland will score enough points to win this game. I think it'll be a good game, but I think I'll take Cleveland to win this. Giants are at the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is so bad that they turned a blocked extra point into a 2-point conversion. That's how bad it is right now. They cannot stop anybody. And they get Van Der Esch back this week. They get downtown Anthony Brown. I think they get somebody else back. But maybe that's good for 10 less points. I don't know. It's historically bad. And it's a shame because the offense can put up points. But, even still, though, the offense... And listen, you can't really blame this on the offense, but... they gave the Browns 2 quick turnovers at the beginning, which is the same thing they did in the Atlanta game. The Atlanta game, they fumbled like 3 times in the first quarter, and before you knew it, they were down 3 scores. They did the same thing again against Cleveland. Now, they rallied back, and listen, when you have that many possessions, you figure you're going to have a turnover here and there, but the Cowboys, it's Dak is fumbling, Zeke is fumbling, like these are the guys that can't be turning the ball over. So even though, Cowboys are giving up so many points on defense, they've still had opportunities to, Seattle game, they probably had a turnover too, I can't remember, but they got to stop turning the ball over. Because if they don't turn the ball over, they can score. Because they got to outscore teams, but you can't outscore teams if you give them the ball for free 2 or 3 times a game. You can't do it. So, but listen, the Giants are an even bigger mess. So at least we have that going for us. So we'll get the win this week and somehow slide back into first place at 2-3, and then so this week we'll get back into first place, and then maybe next week we can get to 500. Anyway, Cowboys will win. Denver's at New England. Stephon Gilmore tested positive, so he's out. We'll see if they play the game. I haven't really heard that this game's in jeopardy because I don't think there've been any of the positive tests. But keep your eyes open here. It's a shame New England. If Cam would have played that game last week, they would have had a shot at beating the Chiefs because they were able to kind of slow them down a little bit on offense. And listen, Denver's getting Lindsey back. They might get Drew Lock back, but I just think New England's still got enough here to hold off this game. But this will be a good game. Denver will keep it close. but I'll take the Patriots. Minnesota's at Seattle. Huge fantasy game. Receivers on both ends. Russell Wilson, the running backs. This will be a great Sunday night game. Hopefully we get a nice shootout to end the week. A lot of people will be going into this game, with guys on the line, trying to get their win. I'll take the Seahawks to win because they got better players. Usually if you have better players, you win. So it's not really a foreign concept. So there you go. Seattle wins Sunday night, and then Monday night you get LA Chargers at New Orleans. Now they might move this game to Indianapolis because of the hurricane that's coming to hit the New Orleans area. I don't know how they ended on Indianapolis for the spot, but I guess that's the closest geographic location that was open this weekend. But hey, Justin Herbert's looked good. And I'm excited because I have him in 2 dynasty leagues. I picked him up in a keeper league, and he looks like he might be the real deal. Now they don't have Eckler, so I think that's going to hurt him. The Saints should get Michael Thomas back, and so I think the Saints will win the game. But again, you got a lot of great matchups here, and hopefully they get the games played and people stop, stop getting COVID and do what they can to, keep everybody safe. So what else are you gonna do? But yeah. So we'll see you Sunday afternoon with Giants Cowboys. Hopefully we just get a nice regular win and just. Can the Cowboys just win a game without any bullshit? Can there be a Cowboy game without any bullshit? Just go out, beat the Giants 31-13, and let's just relax for a Sunday. I'm not asking for too much. But anyway, we'll see you there Sunday afternoon. And there you go, Week 5 NFL.